My family, hi, welcome to another one on Truth and Love the Church with your brother Joseph. So I bring to you a very, very important video, from three great servants of God. My man of God, Pastor Chris Ayakilomi, Prophet Angel, and Prophet Tomi Arayomi, as they talk about the media.
Let's watch this video so that I have some one or two things to tell you. Let's watch this video.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Unfortunately, some members of the media
use
their platforms
to push their own personal bias.
To push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
And that means you can't rely on the media as it is today either.
Oh, of course not. All the media in this country, radio, television, and print, is all owned by 5 corporations. All of these corporations that own the media are owned and controlled. Members of the Council on Foreign Relations sit on their board of directors. You can trace that yourself.
Okay.
Remember, if you go down and you trace the ownership of a station or a newspaper, you get to a corporation. Remember that somebody owns that corporation, and it's usually another corporation. You trace the interlocking of all these things. We get to the top, there's 5. All journalists know that there's some things you don't write about, you don't talk about, because you'll lose your job. That's where the control is. That's why they pay anchormen like Dan Rather $1 trillion a year.
So that, my family, so this is the world that we live in, you just need to watch what you hear. But before we get into the prophecies that were released by Pastor Chris, Prophet Angel, and Prophet Tomi Arayomi.
For just $6, unpack the ultimate Christian streaming experience. Dive into life-changing sermons, gripping and heart-warming shows, epic, soul-stirring movies, and spirit-lifting music. Stay informed with up-to-the-minute news and explore powerful, thought-provoking documentaries and docuseries. Ignite young minds with dynamic and engaging youth and kids programs. Alpha TV has everything you need and more. Subscribe now to get started.
Family, I'll actually leave the link in the pinned comment. You actually find it in the pinned comment. So it's a wonderful platform. You're going to see great ministers, Pastor Chris Ayakilomi, Pastor Benny Hinn, Archbishop Benson Idahosa, and other great servants of God. A lot of exciting, educative programs that you're going to be finding there, So the link will be in the pinned comment. And more good news, the subscription costs less than $2 for the African audience, so do check it out. So my family, let's get into the prophecies, and you tell me what you think about it in the comments below. I actually put in the years that they were released, as you can see over there, just for the benefit of those who just want to go and research, and also for those who we have to work so hard to convince. When these things start happening, they will then claim that the videos were not there. So let's watch. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. God bless you.
Why should we allow men who can tell lies at home tell lies to their friends? Why should we allow them to control the whole world with their own information? It's unacceptable. I, as an individual, I know that the press doesn't tell the truth all the time. In fact, most of the times they lie. Why? Because they lied about me too. Yes, you see, you can know yourself more than anybody else. So when they told things about me that I knew were not true, I now knew that, these people tell lies. Because I could prove it by myself. I can tell you, they tell a lot of lies. I'm telling you this, you see, to allow ourselves to come to a point where free speech is only free for a few people and not allowed everywhere is wrong. Anybody should be free to say what he wants to say. If you say something, even if you're wrong, you should be free. And that's what they did. They exercised their freedom to lie. But they are the ones who want the rest of us not to be able to talk. so that only them can talk, and then we will never be able to reply. But I can reply you today. And I can tell you that the plan to squeeze out free speech around the world will fail. Will fail.
I also saw the fall, not what you have seen now in America, where you see the fall of the legacy media, is going to continue. The Lord said, I'm going to open the eyes of my people. Because Christians, many Christians have been woodwinked and really blinded by the legacy media, or what we call mainstream media, to the point that they continued believing a lie.
Yes, believing a lie.
Even knowing it's a lie.
Even knowing it's a lie. They were comfortable with the lie. You know, when a liar begins to tell the truth, that's exactly 2025. Yes. Where people will be forced in a corner. Where programs from the people that they said were conspiracy, all these, they were feeding conspiracies. They're gonna invite them. Please have a segment here. Talk about this. Talk about this on their own.
Oh, wow.
Trying to have a dose of truth. And the Lord said, you shall see a time when no matter what Newsweek will try to do, Newsweek will say in one part or the other, they will say what I want them to say.
Wow.
That the Times will begin to speak what I want them to speak.
Yes. Wow.
Since they will try in other places to hide the truth, but one inside there, I will make them say what I want them to say. Since I will hold the media and I will bind the king of the airwaves. That for seasons he will be speaking what I want him to speak.
Wow. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Wow.
So you're going to see a whole lot of emergence of new media houses using social media, social platforms, just encouraging the truth being spoken, the truth being injected, the truth being injected. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whether they like it or not, their agenda is under suspension. So let no one be afraid of them. The Bible already told us that they are a part of the deception strategy of the last days. He told us that the world will be deceived, nations will be deceived through pharmakeia. And that describes them absolutely.
Now, there's a sweeping change coming around the world. If I can move on past Canada for a moment and just say there's a sweeping change coming around the world. And the world will call it the Trump effect. But it's going to be God's effect with Trump's name on it. And what's it going to do? It's going to change the face of media. It's going to change the face of social media. But where God before was auditing media and social media, we're going to watch the Spirit of God begin to audit big pharma. And the Lord says, I came for big media in 2024, but in 2025, I am coming for the spirit of pharmakeia. Pharmakeia means witchcraft. Pharmakeia means big pharma. But that word mene tekel farsin, we are going to watch that writing on the wall for many nations. And God is going to shake. The mene tekel farsin means your kingdom has been weighed, it's been found in debt, and therefore I'm going to give it away to somebody else who can pay the debt that you owe God. There are nations that owe the Lord, and God is not going to let that spirit of idolatry behind pharmakeia and lies rob God of his glory. So we're going to watch God in this hour come out after the spirit of pharmakeia in a whole new way. And I'm going to show you this scripture. It's in the book of Revelation, I believe it's chapter 18. Let's go to Revelation chapter 18. And I believe this is what the Lord's going to be doing in the year 2025. It says, the kings of the earth who committed fornication and live luxuriously with her, speaking of Babylon, will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. And the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. Merchandise of gold, silver, precious stones, fine pearls, scarlet, purple, silk, every kind of ivory, every kind of object, precious wood, marble, etc., cinnamon, incense, etc., 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 horses, chariots. The fruit that your soul longed for has gone from you, and all the things which are rich and splendid have gone from you, and you shall find them no more at all. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing. Every shipmaster, all who traveled by ship, sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning. So we're going to watch business people begin to weep at the smoke of her burning. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit to the end of this judgment. It says, the light of a lamp shall no more shine in you, verse 23. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride will no longer be heard in you anymore. For your merchants, your business people, were the great men of the earth. For by your pharmakeia, all the nations of the earth were deceived. Did you see this? By your pharmakeia, by your pharmaceuticals. That's what sorcery means in the Greek. Pharmakeia. All the nations of the earth were deceived. God is about to judge and audit 2020, COVID, and exactly what happened during that time. And we're going to see big pharmaceutical companies pay big. And you got to pray for the U.S. president. You got to pray for President Trump, because he's coming against a murderous spirit. When you start touching pharmakeia, it's a principality. It's not drugs. It's the spirit behind drugs. It's not fentanyl. It's the spirit behind fentanyl. The demonic strongman behind it is called pharmakeia. And he went after the spirit of lies in 2020 and lost his election for it, by the way, because the media is covered in that Jezebel spirit and spirit of lies and deception. But now he's coming against another strong man, the spirit of pharmakeia. And unless the church prays, we're going to repeat the same mistake if the church doesn't pray. What's the mistake of 2020? The mistake of 2020 was, Joshua, you go down to the battle to fight, but we're not going to be the Moses lifting up our hands doing the spiritual battle whilst you're doing the political battle. We've got to be a praying people